Okay, so I just checked embryos again. This girl still has her 3 robin and dacite eggs, and she had one young, super young embryo in there that I went ahead and froze, and she does have another blank egg in there. I don't know if it's going to develop or not, but it's so far behind the eggs in there that, well, they can all hatch out and it won't be anywhere near hatching. So, my blue girl over there in the far corner, I pulled one of her eggs out and froze it. She is still sitting on a cockatiel egg and 2 of cerulean's embryos that are well developed. This little girl right here still has Daintrey's 3 embryos in there, plus 2 blank eggs of her own. And this girl, something interesting happened. I left her with 1 Gefion and Daughtry egg and 2 Razzle and Scrappy Girls embryos and 1 blank Clementine egg. And when I opened it up today, she had 5 embryos going. 5. That means that Gefion's egg is good. Both of Razzle and Scrappy's eggs are good. Maybe one of those eggs is a Clementine egg that's finally started to developing. And then the last egg was a little teeny tiny that had like 2 minutes of development on it, and I froze it because it was hers for sure. So she has 4 embryos in there. Possibly one of them is Clementine's or it's hers. And we won't know until they all hatch out. So this last one is the one that's in question, and it's about 2.5 days old. It's like the same age as the youngest one of these, or close enough so that I couldn't tell them apart. And then the one that I froze was, a circle on the yolk. So, and it was much smaller. Clementine's eggs are big, so she's a very big hen, and this girl lays little teeny tiny eggs. So that last one was her own, with about 12 hours of development on it. That's when you see a red circle on the yolk. And the last 2 here were far enough along so I couldn't tell them apart, which is kind of weird because I saw development in these 2 eggs days ago, and it's weird that all of a sudden this one's catching up. So I don't really know how that worked. Maybe it's one of her own eggs. I don't know. But there was a Clementine egg in there that was a blank, and now there is not a blank egg in there. So we'll see what happens. She has 4 embryos. So all of the embryos that I planted are going, including this 1 extra egg. Don't know how that happened. But there's no way for me to tell them apart, so she's going to have 4 babies. As far as development goes, Robin Dacite's eggs are the farthest developed, except for the cockatiel egg, which I believe is going to hatch out first. Many of the other eggs, their hatch date is based on when the hen laid her first egg. The point of the hatch date is to tell me when to start checking for live babies. But I have no idea what number. Each of these hens that I fostered eggs in here from laid 4 or 5 or 6 eggs, and only 1 or 2 of them were fertile, and I don't know which ones they were. So I have no idea when these babies are going to hatch. So my one fear is that the cockatiel chick will be, 5 days old and as big as its mother by the time one of the little parakeet eggs hatch. But these hens are all experienced, especially this blue hen here is a rock star mom. So even if she has a giant baby in there, I bet that she will remember to take care of the little ones just as well. But I'll be watching. So Saturday the 24th is 2 days from now. And see, these come out all the way in Thursday the 28th. The soonest one here is Monday the 25th, but these ones are like a week later. So I may have to do a little shuffling here because this baby's could potentially hatch out a week before these, but it very well may not, because again, that's when she laid her first egg, but that doesn't mean her first egg was the fertile one. It could have been a 6th egg, so we'll just have to see. And these guys all, 7/25 was their hatch date, and that's probably accurate because every single egg that Robin laid was fertile. And so the oldest egg should hatch right around that date. Okay, so we're coming up on looking for first babies. I'm really glad we managed to salvage something out of this breeding season, because I would have been bummed if we didn't have some babies to look for. But they are all fat and sassy and doing good. And here's all my budgies out here with their disease. Also becoming fat and sassy and looking really good because they're 5 days into the medicine. Not all of the birds were sick, but when you have a flock, you kind of have to treat them like a, you kind of have, are you a girl? I don't think so. When you have a flock, you kind of have to treat them like a single organism because you can never tell who's sick and who isn't. But I did have some birds that were looking pretty darn ill. For instance, this guy right here. Is that? No, that's not. It's this guy up here. This is the blue morpho. He's cleaning himself, and he was just really, really, really underweight. And he is just definitely looking 100% better after just 4 days of medication. Who else? This little gray wing down here, he's looking like he's starting to thrive too. Who else was really skinny? I've forgotten. But anyway, so I'm encouraged that the ones that were sickly are looking better. But we have a long ways to go. Okay, that's it for today.